Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about a training modality that I've long been a fan of. I have had great success with this irrespective of the frequency that I use. I've had a lot of success with clients, and it's one of those things that seems too simple to work, and the reality is it works very, very well. Because it combines the benefits of near maximum lifts, right? Combines the benefits of near maximum lifts with hypertrophy, and it gives us a lot of specific benefits to where it's not just hypertrophy only programming while still maximizing hypertrophy. And that is to, at the start of a session, to take a big exercise, and oftentimes in my case, at the time this is happening, it's squat, bench, deadlift, the big three, right? A big exercise, and we take it up to a training max. And I used to do this even with conjugate type training, with rotating all sorts of lifts. And it might be worth doing one day in the future again. But hitting a training max, right? Going up to a training max, which, means we hit at least 90%, but we don't miss. And hopefully it's not too grindy. But we do a training max. Why? Well, we get all the benefits of a true one rep max. We get to practice singles. And if we talk about maximum strength, how do we define maximum strength? With a heavy single. That is how strength is measured, right? And rightfully so. And if you understand that and you understand strength and what strength actually means, it makes sense that we measure it that way. And that's how it's measured in strength sports, measured in strength and conditioning. And if you're doing anything but a one rep max, you're measuring some other attributes that are related to strength, okay? But the benefit, we get the benefits of lifting really heavy. We also hit all the available muscle fibers, and people need to grasp that. When you start getting above 85% of your true max, every single rep that you do recruits every single available muscle fiber. This is why even when you look at EMGs, when we start hitting 90% lifts, the muscle distribution changes even on EMGs. It's like, wow, all these heads in this muscle that don't normally even show good hypertrophy suddenly magically hit really high thresholds, right? They hit really high thresholds. Why? Because all the available motor units get used. So we hit them, we pre-fatigue them. And then I like to follow it up with tens. And I prefer this for a lot of people even more than 5x5 and stuff, and I like to do tens. And there's some reasons for that, right? A lot of times when we're doing heavier work, we're trying to get some of those benefits of being up near that upper threshold range, right? We're trying to do that because we want to create the most mechanical tension. But if we do a single first, we've already done that. We've already done that. And it attenuates all those upper threshold motor units. We hit them easier. And this works particularly well for advanced lifters. With advanced lifters, we really struggle with tonnage very, very quickly. And so anything that we can do to reduce the weight that we're using on the bar and still hit the highest threshold motor units and muscle fibers, which we can do much easier. The more advanced you are, the much easier you can do with a lower percentage of your max. Right? You can do it with 50% of your max, even a few reps in, when you're an advanced lifter. So the idea here is that if we do this, we've already attenuated those upper threshold motor units. It makes it even easier to get to them. It will therefore make your hypertrophy work a little more efficient. And if we go over to tens are easy on recovery. Okay. Now, when we argue about balances between myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic growth, and that is a very hypothetical scenario, even the people the experts who believe that those ratios can change, will still tell you you'll get a good balance with tens, except that we've hit the heavy work first, so it may bias it in the other direction. Okay. Also, a good training max doesn't fatigue you that much. It doesn't destroy you so much that you can't hit maximum hypertrophy with the rest of your training. If we come in and do tens afterwards, we get a lot of quality volume. Hey, let's say you do 5x10 on an exercise, even if you're leaving reps in reserve. Let's say you get to the last set, 5x10, after doing a heavy single on either the same movement or similar movements, and you still have a rep in reserve at the end. Well, this has created a very large amount of quality volume for hypertrophy. All right. And when we're training like this, people like to use terms like power building, which I laugh at. Really, power building is just code for training like a power lifter, but not stepping on a platform. That's really all it means. And that's why it's so comical. They try to act like it's a hybrid between bodybuilding and powerlifting. Well, serious powerlifters who are in it for the long game train for tons of hypertrophy. So this really is powerlifting training, but it will get you thick because muscle mass, body composition, muscle mass matters, right? Size equals strength potential. Study after study after study shows that. Okay. Size raises our strength ceiling. Practicing lifting heavy actualizes that potential. But it's what creates our potential for it. Within the context of your genetics and your levers, right? It's for you as an individual. It's not necessarily always going to compare you to someone else. But by doing all these tens, this is the easy way to get hypertrophy. Even bodybuilders have figured this out, do a bunch of high reps. And for our purposes, tens is, fairly high reps. Tens is fairly high reps. So you do a bunch of 10 rep sets within your ability to recover after doing this, and we're going to get thick. Right? We're going to get real thick. And again, it has to be built around your recovery. It's got to be built around what you're trying to do. But you'll see in some of these, you guys will see me doing, some benching and deadlifting within tens of benching and deadlifting after. But then even with the squatting, you see me doing belt squats for sets of 10. Okay, that still works all the primary movers of the squat. All right, we're still in this area. You could do a leg press and do the same thing too. Of course, then you guys see me doing good mornings, which helps the squat and the deadlift, right? But it builds muscle. We build muscle. And when we train in this way, this is an easy way to avoid all the complexity and nonsense of periodization. Because to be honest, periodization is really a lot of voodoo, and I know a lot of experts who agree with that. Linear periodization, block periodization, mesocycles. There's a lot of voodoo. It's not necessary to maximize size, nor is it necessary to maximize strength. And the evidence that it even is superior isn't particularly present. Right? It's not particularly there. It doesn't even seem to be the case. And truth be told, as long as you get really strong doing any sort of heavy singles or heavy work, particularly at the lifts you want to get good at, and you maximize hypertrophy, you're going to be brutally strong. You're going to be brutally strong. And this is a very simple approach to doing it. And it doesn't mean you still might not need coaching, right? But this sort of training is the easy way to do it if you don't want to mess with any form of real periodization. It works very, very well. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.